Hi everyone, welcome to Vambo AI in Africa. My name is Linah Kitala. It's always a pleasure having you on board. Today we are doing a special one because I have a special person and I will allow her to introduce herself. Hi Marie.
Hi.
You can introduce yourself to our wonderful, majestic audience.
Hi, my name is Marie-Louise, the operations lead at Vambo AI, and I'm happy to be here chatting with Linah.
Let me tell you, getting her to sit here today is a miracle, people. But thank you, Marie, so much for being here on the podcast. Ideally, if you've been following us, you must watch episode 1. So episode 1, we had our co-founders, that is Isha and Chido, just sharing their journey in being in building a tech startup and their journey in building Vambo AI. And today, Marie and I will share our journey of being part of this amazing team. And I will start with an icebreaker.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that, but okay.
Marie, by now you should know I'm as random can get. Anyway, so fun fact about you, something that people don't know about you, and let it not be a scandal.
Scandal. I'm the least talkative person.
That's what I know.
They don't know.
They don't know. Me, I know. Oh, okay, so for the audience, okay.
Least talkative person at Vambo AI.
True. She's the least. Y'all, the rest of us, well.
Chatterboxes. But
you've heard. For me, a fun fact about me. Let me see. Oh, I have tons and tons of notebooks. Like I have a notebook for everything. Marie can attest.
Yes. And she has a whole pile on her desk.
And those are the only ones she has seen. She hasn't seen the ones back at home. Like I journal everything and I journal everything in its own journal. So I have tons and tons. And when I tell you tons, I mean like even for way, way back notebooks.
But you taught us something nice at Vambo AI, to always write things down. And they come to fruition, you know.
She's handed me my flowers when I'm still alive. Chido, pay raise, please.
I'm sorry, Chido.
Okay. So what is your academic background?
Okay. I studied computer science at Daystar University and actuarial science as well. And after graduation, I went into e-commerce first. I was working for an e-commerce startup and seasons were changing while there and I couldn't continue. And in that period, that's when I met Chido via a mutual friend. And we had a conversation about what she does. And I was excited to learn about it, willing to join her in her mission. And fast forward a year and some months and days later, here I am.
Yeah. Actuarial science, computer science.
It wasn't easy. I wouldn't go back to doing that again.
How did you survive campus?
It was tough, but the tough survive. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is there a link? Have you seen like a common link between actuarial science and computer science?
Yes, the data science bit of it. There's some data science in actuarial science as well as computer science. There's machine learning as well. Like when it comes to financial modeling in actuarial science. Yes, there's the link in that.
Now you know. Now you know. Okay. For me, my background is communication.
Where?
It was not rigged, but I also studied at Daystar. We did not rig this thing.
We didn't plan.
Actually, we hadn't met. Marie and I never met before, even while we were in campus, because I think we were in different cohorts. graduation cohorts, but we are from the same alma mater. So my background is communication. Did it for a minute. For a minute. I had done communication, I think, for like 10 years.
Wow.
Practiced mostly communication in a development kind of a way, like more devcom. Though initially that was not the idea. The idea was for people to hear my voice and never to read news, but just to hear my voice.
Okay. That's radio.
Yeah, radio. I love radio. Still part of my heart. So I did radio for quite some time, but more on the development side. So radio to equip communities, especially in creating awareness of things like healthcare, what else? Politics, governance, and the entire shebang. Women rights, and So did that for a minute. Excuse me. I'm having this thing that's trying to come between me and sounding nice. But so did it for a minute. And then I think I just reached a place where I was like, okay, been here, done it. I felt like I've done my Alexandra the Great.
You've conquered
I've conquered every territory. I need to go back to Greece. No. But yeah, I felt like I'd conquered so much because I did it for almost 10 years. So yeah, I felt like I've conquered, I've done what I wanted to do, I've grown to the best of my ability, and I wanted the next challenge. You? Let me tell
Challenge
you.
came.
The challenged. But that's a story for another day.
Okay.
So did a hiatus for a minute. Took a break from many things, from people, from normal life. Because COVID came.
Oh,
that was also during COVID. I and COVID were in the same WhatsApp group in terms of just going through a break of normalcy. Because COVID broke a lot of normal patterns. So for me,
a lot of people,
COVID was there. And then I was equally going through my own journey of breaking from the norm. Yeah. And because Marie mentioned that the rest of us can talk a lot, I want to take this back.
Okay.
Back to her. So would you say getting to Vambo AI was a break of a norm for you? Or was it something like after e-commerce, you're like, yeah, I want to go to the AI space and conquer. Give me AI. Thanos changes everything. Anyway, yeah.
Well, when I was in the e-commerce space, I was also thinking about my future, what I want to do, and eventually settle in what field. And I wasn't thinking about tech and AI at that time. I was actually wanted to leave it all behind and change into something else. I didn't know what yet, but still having faith that I will figure it out. And then Vambo AI came along. The world was also changing and moving into AI and machine learning, cryptocurrency, and all that. And Vambo AI came, and here I was, and I learned about what we were doing and believed in the mission to bridge language barriers. And it resonated well with me because I also have a language story of my own. I don't know if I can get into that, but you'll let me know.
You can't touch the sauce and then just go like, can I continue saying?
Yes. And so now being at Vambo has I kind of now am into it. It's now my norm now. Accepting that I can't run away from tech. Tech is the world right now. Also developing myself, getting to learn more about this space, embracing it. Yes.
It's quite interesting that you've mentioned language story. For those who are just joining us for the first time, and maybe this is an episode you've plugged yourself into, so Vambo AI is a multilingual intelligence platform, or we are building for language. And the interesting thing, it was also my hook.
Your language story? You have a language
Yes,
story?
my language story was also a hook for me to want to be
Interesting.
part of Vambo AI. But for me, the journey didn't start as AI. So I think for you, the juncture where you met Chido, you met her when she was now getting into building the tech part of Vambo Universe, quoting Ishe. For me, I met her while she was at the Vambo Universe where she was building the academy.
Yes.
So I got into the Vambo Universe to help build the academy side of our universe. And my language story is what made me want to get into the universe, because I was watching a YouTube show the other day with my mom. I found her watching a YouTube channel, and they're doing a challenge about asking each other questions in English, and then you translate in the mother tongue they speak. So they were saying how there are those people who say, I can hear the language but can't speak it. And I was like,
all of us,
same was up.
Millennials, Gen Zs, we all say that.
For me, I come from a household that speaks 2 languages. And like my mom speaks one native language from Kenya and my dad speaks another native language from Kenya. Well, let's say Swahili and English are the languages we spoke most. So communicating in my mother tongue, be it my mother's native language or my father's native language, is a hustle.
True.
So I was like, if I cannot save myself, I can save the rest. I can save the other generation. And that's how I ended up in the Vambo universe. So for you, you've said it's also language.
Yes, it's also language.
Similar background like me, or?
Yes, a similar background. I also grew up in a household where my dad spoke different language, my mom a different language, but the common language they spoke was, like you, English and Swahili. So that's what we grew up speaking. So then I come to Vambo, and then I realized, this is embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
You don't know your mother language. Abomination. But I've learned to appreciate it, my culture and my language, and seeing the importance of building such like tools to help people communicate and even learn their languages. Yes.
When you're talking of, for me, I felt like my inadequacy is a double-edged sword in this sense, in the sense that I don't speak my language. Cool. Y'all can do whatever.
Yes.
But it's in that inadequacy, it's in my not speaking my language that I really understand why having Vambo AI is important.
True.
Because I realize I may not speak the language, but there are multiple other people who actually communicate in their native languages on a daily basis. And that's how their world and universe looks like. I may not speak my language, but there's someone who treasures that language I don't speak because it's what their universe is all about. So I feel for me it's a double-edged sword, because I'm a first-hand what do you call it? Casualty of not being able to speak a native language. So but understanding that other people actually speak that native language. So sometimes I usually think to myself, Kanye, was it a strategy of some boomers? Did you plan not to teach your children your native language? Just a question out there. Don't come for us. Yeah. Okay. So now you get into the Vambo universe. You are at Vambo AI. So has it been easy? Like, do you startle in and do you go like, hey, what's up? Gunshots, pa 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 pa, fired. How has the journey been so far being at Vambo AI?
It's been great. A lot of learning experiences. I did not catwalk in.
You didn't waltz.
No, I came in humble, knowing that there's a lot of knowledge gaps that I needed to fill joining an AI company. What was the question again?
So, like challenges. So far.
Like, yes.
What are the challenges you face so far?
So, yes, we have experienced some challenges, even as an operations lead. Well, I remember at the beginning when we were starting to get in different clients, we had not fully understand or grasped how different requests can come in because they're coming from different industry sectors like fintech and edtech. So we hadn't fully grasped how these requests would come in and how we can assist them. So there were some sleepless nights.
Well, for real, there are days I'll look at Marie and I'll be like, girl, did you sleep? You look like a zombie.
Yeah, there were some sleepless nights, like when it came to servicing them, integrating with our solution with their solution, and also, with our languages, there's diversity, and also in our languages. So to meet their requests, you need to know exactly what language they need, if there are any sub-dialects within different languages, and assist them to the best of your ability. But we took down notes, a lot of notes, streamlined our processes, automated different tasks that could be simplified instead of doing it manually, wasting the client's time. After all, we're an AI company. We're expected to be top-notch, efficient. Also getting our API to be perfecting it. That's how we overcame those challenges. Yes. What about your side? She's a 3-in-1, ladies and gentlemen. Communications, community, partnerships. See how she's shaking her head. So tell us, you must have encountered
why are you spilling tea?
Number.
Why are you spilling tea? Anyway, I think for me, the first challenge was coming from a different background. At least for you, you have like computer science,
yes.
Like when you hear LLM, you go like, what is that? Who be that? Now for me, I was as I mentioned, I was coming in from the academy side. The academy side, things are more subtle.
Yeah.
Like it's
language learning.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, Chidi's like, we are getting into deeper waters, ma'am. Kindly get on board. And she's like,
strap your boots. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
And so I find myself in a whole universe called AI. We tell you people. So I had to start from scratch, to be quite honest.
Okay.
I had to drop everything that I thought I knew and start from scratch. Be humble enough to start from scratch and just learn the ropes of what AI is, and not just AI, what the entire tech universe is all about. Because remember, I'm coming from a communication universe. Yes, we know tidbits of what's happening in other universes because it's our role as the fourth estate to speak and share with you about business and about sports and about politics and it's part of the training. But we don't sink ourselves like in one particular niche and go like, unless you decide to become like an environmental journalist or a someone who's like a sports journalist. But in general, it's quite hard to like, we didn't have tech journalists, okay, people. So because most things in tech will fall under business, because they will be highlighted as innovation and businesses and entrepreneurship that's coming. So you won't necessarily have someone who's saying, I'm a tech
journalist. Yeah.
From my space. Do not call me. Do not go like, they are there. From my space, people. So I had to start from scratch. And most of the times I'll ask myself, what am I doing here? Am I even fit for this space? And I think it was having team members who could see. I didn't see it, but having team members who could see that I can actually be in the space, that made me embrace the space and want to learn the space even more. So for me, the greatest challenge was coming from zero background and starting from scratch. Like starting from the bottom. Now we're here. That kind of a start. Yeah.
But how is it right now? I know the learning curve was steep, but you've done really well. Like, I should say that. Yeah. So how is it right now? Now that you've heard a lot of learning to do, now you know a bunch of stuff, you can actually have a speaking engagement.
Right now?
Yes.
I know you train tools. Either you can supervise them, or it can be unsupervised, or you can reinforce. Am I correct?
Yes.
Clap for me. Hey, I did not know that one. I did not know that one.
You know LLMs.
I know LLMs. I know what large language models mean. I know we start from AI, then we get to machine learning, and then we move to deep learning, and then we get to Gen AI, and then we have diffusion models. Isha, where are you? You need to grade me, sir.
Chido, your girl is so amazing.
To get to a place where now these concepts are no longer foreign, but are concepts I hear every day, and I actually understand what they mean, has taken an uphill climb. But we are almost at the top.
The summit? Yes.
Almost at the top. Yes. Not there yet, but we are almost at the top. Yeah, so the challenges have been there. I think another challenge for me was making people understand why. As community lead, as partnerships, as all those hats that have been mentioned, making people understand why language is important. Why? Why are you building a language model? Why are you not doing fintech? We have seen solutions there that work. Why are you not building health tech? Why are you not doing climate tech? Like, there are all these things being built now. Why are you in multilingual AI? So for me, I think that has also been another challenge that I've faced, making people understand why languages are important, and not just languages per se, but why African languages are important. True. And why having representation of African languages in the AI space is important. That has been a daunting one, but we are about to conquer.
Yes,
yeah. When you're talking about challenges, when it comes to like streamlining, like how we do operations, is there a particular point? Is there a particular challenge that you met and you were like, how in the world did I take up being operations lead? Because it is not operating. Is there one that was like, comes on top of your mind and you're like, wait, it's a constant reminder of, if I conquered that one, I can conquer the next. Don't have to mention the exact names. We can do a incognito version of the story.
But you see, under operations, you're handling projects, and you also need to be aware that the product that you are using to handle and manage this product. These projects is working.
A1.
Yeah, it's working well. So a few times, that time when I was having those sleepless nights, or there was some malfunction and some bugs and some errors with the tool that I was using to fulfill the service needs of the clients. And I was like, if I could know the back end solution and do this myself and fix it and then help out this customer, then I'd be good and we could move on quickly from this problem. So yeah, that time really opened my eyes that I can get into learning what happens at the back end and assist when such issues arise instead of waiting for the ticket to be sorted. Yeah.
So have you embarked on that journey?
I have. It's interesting getting back to learning to build, learning programming languages that I had abandoned and thought that I will leave behind. But
you had been like, see your alligator.
Yes,
now
but
the alligator is biting. Like
I can't run from it. So I have started a journey. Baby steps, crawling. It's quite interesting. Looking forward to exploring more, even with our CTO, Ishianesu. Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. Ask me. Me, I've been asking you questions. Even me, I need a break. I'm coughing. So ask me a question.
Oh my. Do I have any question for Linah? Let me see. This would be now a gap.
There is malfunctioning. No, it's okay. One of the things for me personally that I've come to appreciate in walking the journey is not to shun the place of evolving. I don't know if let me elaborate. I'm a big fan of history. And in being a big fan of history, one of the things you learn as you just go through like historical documents or historical facts is no society or civilization stays the same. And for them that like haven't matured a particular thing, whatever they were as a civilization falls off. But for them that had something of distinction, that thing of distinction continuously remains, even if that civilization is slightly disrupted or maybe even alienated to some degree. For instance, at some particular point, Egypt had a big say, a big say. It may not have that current say as it did a few centuries ago, but there's so much from the Egyptian civilization that has been carried forward till this particular time. For instance, the reason why we trade as what we know as trade, has its origins from Egypt. Egyptians who are farmers realize that that's their main way of living. Those who are on the other side of doing cattle and all that. So there are those who did like crops and stuff, and then there are the ones who did like animals and the entire shebang. So they decided, let's do an exchange program. You give us crops, we give you animals, barter trade.
Barter trade, okay.
And that's how we've done it over the centuries. It's shifted, the dynamics are different, but it's still there. Let me look for another example. Yeah. The reason why our politics is shaped the way it is till now is because of the Roman civilization. The reason why we have capital cities is because Rome started the capital. the reason why we have an inauguration is because the term emperor means inaugural. Like it has that connotation. So basically, Rome may not be Rome as we know it now, but what Rome started is still being done till now. Why am I saying this? I'm saying it by notion that I am appreciated by being in Vambo AI and being in the AI space and tech space. I'm appreciative of the fact that change will always come.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why civilizations passed from one to another is because change came. And that change has led us to where we are now. And now, what our civilization is immersed in and is being confronted with is the revolution of AI. We can't escape it. Same way there was the steam engines, electricity, that entire interchange. Now we are at AI. So for me, being in the AI space has really, really made, I don't think I will be as cognizant as I am if I was outside the AI space.
Yeah.
But being within the space and just understanding the magnitude of what AI means in its totality, I appreciate the fact that we need to change. Like, we need to have something that is carried over through AI and not the other way around. We need to have, like, whatever was, like, all the civilizations passed down something. We need to ensure what has been part of us is passed down through AI, because that's the only tool that will ensure what we currently have normal will be passed down to the next. Yeah. Hope
yes,
I became deep.
A little bit deep, but I'd like to know how you see it in the context of Vambo AI. What are we? What would you like to see us pass on through Vambo AI?
I think what one of the things that I've really appreciated is that language. No, this is the other side of me. I do archaeology as a side hustle, people. Anyway, but I've come to understand that every civilization had language. And language helped them build. Like, one of the things that was core in them conquering territories was ensuring that that territory understood the language. Okay? So you'll find that when, like, let's use Babylon as an instance. When Babylon was conquering as different territories, they will train people in the Babylonian way.
Yes.
So you will have to learn the language, you will have to learn the culture, because when people embrace that, it becomes easier for them now to follow along with everything else. So language was always key in passing down these civilizations.
Yes.
Like, you find that when the Greeks went to a place, they will ensure Greek culture, like, is part of that colony, because that's the only way you will rule. Otherwise, these people will come and, rebel against you.
Yes.
So I'm using this in this sense. Africa has gone through colonization as a people, and we have done things in a particular way because of how we were colonized and how colonization shaped us as a people. But I strongly believe if Africans build for Africa using AI, we can decolonize ourselves by building innovations that speak and touch the African pain points. And because the Africa market is still utilizing its native languages. Y'all who be in the capital cities may not feel so. But once you leave the major cities of Africa, or even not major, like where daily economies run, you when you go to the normal Monanchi, normal person on the ground, they're actually speaking their native language. That's how they're doing life. So if Vambo AI can aid other innovators through our API, then I believe that innovation will really speak to whoever is meant to receive the innovation. If someone goes to a healthcare facility and maybe they can't communicate in English, but they can communicate in Swahili, and they find that there's an AI tool there that can help them speak efficiently to their caregiver. If someone goes to the immigration office and they can't speak, you see how people carry someone else to go speak on their behalf?
Yes.
But if Vambo AI can create a solution where you can go with your mother tongue and feel comfortably because you can write in text and it gives speech to the person who you're communicating with and they get to understand what you're saying. So for me, that's a gap. Whether people believe it's there or not, we all can take our own cup of tea, coffee, mocha, namaste. But I believe it's there and I believe it's part of the solution to scale Africa.
True.
Or to get Africa to the next level.
Yeah, I agree. And I reckon with that fully because one of the things I look forward to doing through our journey in Vambo AI is engaging more in the language preservation projects and cultural heritage conservation projects, just to preserve our culture, tell our stories, and have those stories stored and preserved for our future generations, and have our history written and preserved for us and our future generations. I believe that's important, and I look forward to engaging more in that, journey through Vambo AI. Yeah.
So, in conclusion, what would you want the people who watch this episode to take home? It can be as deep or as Marie as Marie.
Well. What I had planned to say is to echo what our CEO Chido has said before, that delusion got us here. I loved it when I heard that delusion got us here. Building, our mission is to bridge language barriers by building multilingual intelligence. And that sounds like a really daunting task. But here we are. Delusion got us here, and forward we will continue moving. Yes.
For me, I think the greatest lesson so far in the journey, we'll do a part 2 when we are, when we'll come back as veterans, but right now as newbies, I think for me the greatest lesson I've learned is don't be afraid to start. Don't be afraid to start afresh and start anew. And just because something feels as you've said, as a daunting task, like cannot be achieved, it doesn't mean that you can't try. Try. Once you've tried, you'd rather fail after trying than think it's not possible and then see someone else doing the very thing you refused to do, which is painful. Yeah. So for me,
it's an opportunity.
Yeah. I've appreciated the humility to begin.
Yes.
Yeah. So far in my Vambo AI journey, it has been. I'm proud of myself for not running away, because I had a choice. I could have just told Chido and Ishe, I'm academy. Leave me in the academy universe. But I'm grateful that I accepted the challenge to get into the tech universe of Vambo AI. And so far, it has really taught me so much about myself, leave alone about the space itself.
I agree.
So I leave the audience with, don't be afraid to start. afresh.
And delusion will get you there.
Be the Lulu. No
Yes.
matter what people say, if you have a conviction about something, actually, most innovators were the Lulu. Ask them how many times they did that thing until now they cracked the code. You will know that they were building out of just the idea that this thing is amazing. And with that, we call it a wrap. And I hope we've encouraged you. And we'll see you at part 2 of what we have learned in the follow-up journey of being part of Vambo AI. As I always say, keep it Vambo AI and see you next time. Bye, guys.